I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. We have low solar activity. We have a low Schumann resonance activity. The frequency is even down as well. Although we have some CMEs that are incoming, and 2 CMEs popped off yesterday. But before we go into the space weather, let's talk about the planetary alignments and what you're going to feel today. So we're still in that Libra energy, which means we are still trying to find that balance within ourselves, but we're also trying to find balance within relationships and people. The moon is going to enhance this Libra energy with Pluto, and this is going to kind of trigger paranoia because it's going to shift into Scorpio energy, which is very intense. So you might experience some extremes, especially if you weren't able to balance that. But then there's going to be a really intense emotion that is going to stir later in the day because guess what? We're shifting into Scorpio energy, and that is going to change your mood, and it is going to change your perspective. Although you might doubt yourself, you might doubt your plan, you might doubt yourself, you might doubt people, because there's also this sense of waiting and anticipation. But that's okay. Dig into that suspicion and then root out what you need to, unpack more information. Do you relate to that today? What do you feel? Because we are still integrating a lot of energy, guys. So you might physically feel just totally off, but then with the planetary alignments daily, that adds on to the solar weather. But let's see how the solar weather is going to affect you today. So let's check out the Schumann first. We are still processing and integrating all of the light that we previously had during the week. It looks like we are still in a little bit of homeostasis, a couple little purgings going on. Our amplitude currently is around a 7, so not too high, obviously, because nothing's going on. And then the frequency that we have on planet Earth is a little bit lower as well. But we are getting light in the Schumann in Italy, so it's not like nothing is pouring in. We do have a lot of energy, lots of C-class flares, and these are all those little C-class flares popping off. But let's check out our solar winds right now. We're at a KP2. The lowest we're supposed to have for the whole weekend is a 1, and the max we're supposed to have is a 2. Look at all of those 2s. Look at all of those 1s. So pretty low. Maybe the highest would be around 500 kilometers per second, depending, of course. But currently we are at around 440 kilometers per second. So as you can see, it is dipping down. It is lightening a little bit, but we do have some density. So you might feel a little heavy today. Not too much density. Currently, it's not at a 7, just so you know. Density is currently not at a 7 and it is around a 13 right now because we are jumping in and out, hitting a little bit of that 10 degree density level, but we do have the bulk around here around a 6. So a little bit of heaviness in the air today. But look at all the flares we have today, all from 3513, which is really going off. We have a higher percent chance of having some X-class flares from that region, but a lot of activity, a lot of light. So we have 7 regions on our sun right now. We are going to look at 3513, abso-fucking-lutely. And we are still going to look at 3510 and 3511 because those also have a higher percent chance and they are emitting some C-class flares as well. Now we don't have a coronal hole right now, but we do have a lot of filaments. And this is what I mean. Lots of filaments. These look like little tiny snakes, and those are able to lift off, especially if we have higher solar flares, something with a lot of impact. You know, sometimes even not a lot of impact, but as you can see, we have 3510 and 3511 that is emitting some light here right close to these filaments. So we do have chances of these lifting off. But here is 3510 and this is 3511. Now 3511 is what we are currently looking at with this model. It changed its class magnification. It is in beta, stayed about the same exact size and number of sunspots. We have a 20% chance of having an M-class flare, 5% for a X. Proton level has risen as well, 5% for that. But look, we have a lot of potential activity going on right here. I wouldn't be surprised if this went off today. And note the region up here, 3510, has a 35% chance of having some C-class flares, but we are looking at this region more so. And this is 3513. Notice the class magnification changed as well in this. We added a gamma component to this beta. The size is around 120, same exact number as sunspots, which is 12, but we have a 70% chance of having some C-class flares. A M-class flare percentage is around 15. Again, 5% proton level. So the more proton flares that we get sent to Earth, the higher the chance we have a solar radiation storm. And note the percentage is 5% for that X class. So we do have a slight chance of having an X class flare and an M class flare, but we're obviously going to see lots of C class flares. And if this region goes off and we have something higher, it's because these little pockets right here are finally touching. We have some depth over here and little tiny sunspots, but we do have a lot of buffers, note that. But 3513 has gave us a lot of light so far. And this is going to affect you. So really quick, this is one of the CMEs that went off. This is an asymmetrical halo CME. This is backsided, so we probably won't see a chance of having this. It was very, very slow moving. As you can see, the bulk of the plasma is around 400 kilometers per second, so very, very slow. But yet again, it is backsided. We're not going to get anything from this one. However, this one is being modeled right now, so it may have some Earth-directed components, but also very slow in velocity. And same, the bulk of this was around 400 kilometers per second, so very, very slow. But we do have that CME that erupted on the 5th, and it is still heading our way. We'll see that effect around the 12th. And as you can see, we are caught in it beginning of the 12th right here. So within the next coming of days, whenever the 12th and 13th roll around, we'll see maybe some auroras depending, but the velocity is going to enhance, especially around the 11th, the 12th, the 13th. And here's another beautiful capture that Simon had. These are filament liftoffs right here, as you can see. And this is all plasma. Okay, think of this tiny little dot right here as Earth. Just think of it, this little tiny dot, that's Earth. Yes, this is a cloud that will envelop the whole planet. But it takes a couple days to get here, so just a beautiful photo. I love seeing these. So how you feeling today? Ascension symptoms can really, tug and pull, especially when we are in an integration process and we're in Libra energy. So finding that balance is a little bit hard. With our increase in density, like I said, you might experience some body pains. And then with the Scorpio energy, those intense emotions that sometimes is really hard to hone in. Just remember those triggers are very prominent today. So don't fall for it. And eat a little bit lighter. It'll help with that density energy as well and help integrate things a little bit smoother. So ground if you can today. I am finally getting outside. There is some sun today. What are you doing today to ground? I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Love ya!